Well, I thought I was just a slow learner. Like after all those years, it was like my most complex sentence I could come up with was "Je voudrais une baguette, s'il vous plaît." And like, it's like, what do I do with that?
Pourquoi? Comment?
Je m'appelle Becca et j'ai 27 ans. Et j'ai grandi en Californie et je suis née à San Diego. Et j'ai déménagé ici en Louisiane en 2012.
Pourquoi? Why did you learn French?
I wanted to learn in the first place because my parents allowed French foreign exchange students. They sponsored them and housed them. So I always had that influence in my house when I was a kid. And as a kid, I'm like, French, this is a new language. It was so cool and I was so interested by it. So when I was around 6 years old, that was like when it garnered my interest. And then of course I took it in high school. I did really well in it. I took 3 years of French in high school and then I moved here and I continued to take French. I took 3 years at SLCC. And by the end of the 3 years, I was like, why can't I speak French? You know, like I've done all this like work and under my belt and I'm like, I can't speak French. So with the quarantine, I just started buying French books, started listening to French podcasts, music, everything, just doing all the like enriching part of the language. And I feel like that really helped me. My dad is born and raised here. My dad's white and my mom's Filipino. So my dad was born and raised here. He was full-blooded Cajun. And growing up in California, I never understood my dad. And after having moved to Louisiana, he makes so much more sense. And so I talked to him about it. He said that he wished he learned the Cajun French because his family spoke it. So it's just a way to like connect with my family.
Comment? How did you go about learning French?
The process is mixed. I definitely do something every single day French related. Like my phone, my computer, everything's set to French. So anytime there's a chance for immersion, I do it. And then while I'm cooking dinner, I'll be watching French cooking shows and the music I listen to. I watch only French movies at this point, it feels like. So I do something every single, there isn't a day that goes by that I don't practice French in some facet. After all those years, I was so sick of grammar, so I bought Le Petit Prince, for example. There's another children's book, La Mécanique du Cœur. Yeah, and I started watching this show called Peppa Pig, like all the kids shows. Yeah, Peppa Pig was a good one. I just watched it in French and the sentences were so simple I could keep up. And I just felt like I was graduating with the language. Like after my kids shows, I started watching fantasy and like romance stuff. So yeah, I make tons of mistakes. I give people the blank nod, like, oh yeah, je comprends, I know what you're saying. But I just fake it and I gotta be there and I gotta recognize the patterns. It's painful, but it works. Before I was just so shy and like the French tables, like the Franco happy hour, I would like avoid those like the plague because I felt like, oh, my French is so bad, it's c'est merde, right? But I was just too shy at the time to like realize I needed this.
Un petit conseil? Got a tip?
My one hot tip is to buy children's books. It's been my favorite way to learn. Currently, it's my favorite way to learn. So buy children's books, very helpful. If I could give someone advice in my shoes a year ago, it would be to not get too caught up on the grammar aspect of it. I feel like the more you read and the more you watch, the more you listen to music, the grammar just kind of learns itself. And I feel like people get stuck in that rut of I need to do everything correctly and by the book. And when we're speaking, we don't speak correctly. We don't speak by the book. So I would just say start making mistakes, or don't be afraid to make mistakes, as corny and cheesy as that is. Oh, it's so rewarding. Like even just to say the few things that I've said in here and like for you guys to nod and be like, oh yeah, that's correct. It's such a rewarding feeling, I can't explain it.
Merci d'avoir guetté ça. To find out how to get involved, visit us online.